Well, hello there. I am Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer, and I love to combine science and spirituality to teach people. Whoop, turn my phone off. That was my own notification telling me that I'm going live. Okay, so yeah, I love to combine science and spirituality, blend the two of them together to teach people how to release joint pain and inflammation naturally by letting go of inflammatory foods, thoughts, and feelings so that people can become empowered creators of their own health. So I love empowering people in their health. So this show, Wellness by Design, is dedicated to helping people achieve wellness, not by reacting to the world around them, but by intentionally designing a life based on what their own body needs. So in this show, I explore practices, methods, and science that contribute to optimal health. So I love to pull it all together, all my engineering background, the sciencey stuff, along with the spirituality stuff, which I've also been interested in for so many years. And it kind of all came together in my own healing from rheumatoid arthritis. When I got it in 2016, could barely walk and couldn't make a fist with my hands and all that kind of stuff. And now strong and vibrant again, and still like figuring out things, learning new things along the way. I'm always reading and listening to podcasts and looking at studies and all that kind of stuff. So today I thought I'd talk about the number one cause of aging, and that is inflammation. Inflammation. So if you have any inflammation, then you want to get it under control because it ages you, and inflammation is also the underlying condition of pretty much every chronic disease. So whether you're talking about autoimmune disease like I have, or just regular arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, prediabetes, Alzheimer's, any of these, cancer, all of them start with inflammation. And so if you've got any sign of inflammation, you want to do something about it, right? There's and it does age you. Inflammation does age you. There's a term someone came up with. I don't know who came up with this, but it's brilliant. Inflammaging. So if you have inflammation, you are aging. Right. So why is that? I've got some notes here that I'm going to refer to, make sure I don't leave things out. So okay, so as some of us will age faster than others. You look at some people and think, why do they look so young? And the thing is that they've got inflammation under control, or if they don't have the inflammatory response that's causing them to age so quickly. So why is that? A lot of people think it's our genes. Oh, she's just got young genes. But, really our genes are only responsible for only 2% of our genes are responsible for permanent things like that. The other 98%, or actually even more than 98%, are actually changing all the time. People say they're expressing or not, or they're upregulating or they're downregulating. So they're responding, they're switching on and off, and really genes make proteins. So they're creating proteins that either are making us helping with wellness, or they're not. They're causing inflammation, or they're not. So what we want is to try to create the environment so that the inflammation is not happening, or at least being reduced. So yeah, our genes. So if you think about it, the genes are in every single cell of our body, and we have, listen to this, 32 trillion cells. 32 trillion cells make up us. And about 1 billion of those are being replaced every single day. And what is the building block for those cells? It's the food that we eat. And the operation of those cells is coming from the environment, the whole environment. So that is the food that we eat, but it's also what's around us in the air that we breathe, in what touches our skin, in the stuff that we don't see in the air, like the electromagnetic frequencies, and who knows what other frequencies are out there. And also also the thoughts that we think and the emotions we feel. All of this contributes to the environment that our cells are responding to. And our cells are the building blocks of us. And our cells, if they aren't operating well, and they are creating inflammation. So when they don't operate well, they may not function as well. Well, they're obviously not going to function as well. They may die off too soon, or they may not die off soon enough. And if you think about it, a cell is like, did you remember doing the cell biology in high school, and you learned about the functions of the cell? And really the functions of any one cell are the functions of even the bigger organism. They have respiration, they have elimination, they have reproduction. So all of these things, the functions that we have, each of our cells have as well. So when they aren't operating as well, they are going to not function as well. There's going to be like a buildup of gunk and just causing inflammation to us. And they also, when the cells aren't functioning properly, they don't communicate well with each other. Kind of like people, right? When we're not functioning well, we don't communicate well with each other. So when the cells are not communicating well with each other, because if you think about it, a bunch of cells that work together is basically an organ or a tissue. So they have a common function. So if they aren't functioning well, then the function of that organ is not, or tissue is not going to be as optimal as it should be. So it all comes back to inflammation. So really, the inflammation is directly related to the environment that our cells are exposed to, that we are exposed to. And so I've talked about what the environment is. The thing is that many of the things in our environment are within our control, right? And that can I feel like that's very empowering, but I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was talking about these concepts, and they got kind of quiet. And I thought afterwards, this person is not finding this very empowering. They're feeling like, I think maybe sometimes people are afraid of the power that they actually have, because that means they have to take responsibility. And when you take responsibility, like once you know it, you know that you should take responsibility. And then that means perhaps you don't want to take responsibility. Like it's easier to blame, right? It's easier to blame whatever, the crappy food on the food that comes into our supermarkets. It's easy to blame the air that we breathe on. Well, that's kind of what's around us. Can't do anything about it. It's easy to blame, people around us for how we feel. But really, it's our responsibility. We always have a choice in how we react. We always have a choice in, for example, what goes on the end of our fork. No one's forcing that in our mouths. So we always have a choice. We always have a responsibility. And with that responsibility, to me, it's a lot of power. It's a lot of power because we can then create the environment that our cells are going to respond to and get inflammation under control. And when you get inflammation under control, you get aging under control. Maybe you can even age backwards. I know people who have done wonders by controlling their environment, and they say now that they feel younger than they did 20 years ago. They have more energy than they did before. They have more zest for life. So, you can actually cause yourself to age backwards. Wouldn't that be fun? Not that we want to go back to being babies. Okay, so I'm assuming that if you are watching this, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on replay, that you do care. You do care about doing something with your health, with your body, with your life, and you do want to take responsibility. You do know that you have the power and you want to do something about it. So, what can you do to reduce inflammation? So, inflammation, as I said, is a response to the environment. Lots of different things can contribute to inflammation. And I've said many times that probably one of the the biggest source of inflammation is actually from our gut. And when you consider our gut is about 80% of our immune system, and that's what's responding to cause the inflammation, then really focusing on our gut is a great place to start. Two biggest impactors on our gut. Now there's other things. Sleep, of course. Sleep, relationships, environment, the exercise, the food that you eat, how you deal with stress, the thoughts you think. All of these things are part of the environment that affects our gut. But the two ones that have the biggest impact that you can change right away are stress, how you deal with stress, and also food. Now food takes a little bit longer. Stress, of course, could take a while, but I know that one method that really helps reduce stress, and you can do it in the moment, is with your breath. Now, a lot of us breathe. Well, we're all breathing, right? We're all breathing anyway, but a lot of us have dysfunctional breathing. So what do I mean by dysfunctional breathing? Breathing, like we tend to be chest breathers because of either we just got into a habit of it from having poor posture. So just being a chest breather instead of belly breathing. And also things like shallow breathing, so just not taking big enough breaths. And we don't get a lot of great oxygen then circulating around our body for all of our cells. And another one is rapid breathing. So a lot of these dysfunctional breathing patterns have become habits for a lot of us. So that's one part of it. But the other part is by controlling our breath. So luckily, the breath is something that will happen automatically anyway because we need it to live. Or it can also happen with our intention. So we can change how we breathe. We can change the speed and the depth of our breath. And with that, we can also create this nice calm effect. And that helps us deal with stress in the moment. So I've mentioned lots of times about our autonomic nervous system and how we can either be in rest and digest mode, which is the healing mode where we're functioning properly, our digestion is functioning properly, our respiratory system is functioning properly. All of that moves to a healthy state when we can get in the rest and digest mode. The problem is that most of the time we're in the fight or flight mode, which is the stress mode. And when we're in that stress mode, the immune system doesn't operate well, digestion doesn't operate well, even our heart and all that, things aren't operating well, our brain doesn't operate well. So because everything is about immediate survival. So our body is thinking, well, forget about fighting off a virus. Right now, you might have to run from that tiger because that's what our brain is thinking. So it sends blood and everything out to our extremities. And it actually constricts blood flow in our core and in our brain. So it also restricts the function of our prefrontal cortex because that's the rational thinking. It wants us to go from the instinct type of thinking. So, we really don't function well when we're in that mode. So we want to try to get into the rest, digest, relax, rejuvenate mode. So that is what we can do with our breath very simply, very easily. And I'm actually teaching this in a masterclass I got coming up. It's starting on September 30th and it's free. I'm just going to do 5 days right here on my Facebook page. 5 days of deep, relaxed breathing. So I'm going to show a different technique for 5 days, get you into that mode where you are breathing into your belly and really creating that sense of calm. So I'm going to teach you the method and then we'll do it together right in the session. I'll also email you a guidebook that you can use to monitor how you're doing through the week, see how you've improved during the week, deepen your understanding. And so that's going to be a really useful tool that you can work on as well. So it's not going to be very long, maybe like 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes each day. So if you want to sign up, you can go to janehoganhealth.com/deep relaxed breathing, all one word. And I'll get you signed up and you'll get the link. The day before, I'll send you the guidebook, and then each day I'll send you the link right to where I'm starting the video for that day. Now they will be recorded. I'm doing it at, oh goodness, I've forgotten the time. I think it's at 11:30 Newfoundland time. So that would be 10, hope I've got that right, 10 a.m. Eastern time. But regardless, if you can't make the live, then you can watch the recording. So I'll record it there for you as well. I'm also going to give away a prize. So there'll be like something to show that you're participating, and from the guidebook, so you can take pictures of your guidebook. And then from everyone that contributes every day, I will do a draw for a Create Peace and Calm gift box that I'm going to send to you in the mail, real mail. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. When I ran this before, people said so many great things. Like one lady, she told me that it literally saved her life, which blew me away. Other people just said they were sharing it with their family and feeling so calm. Because, this time right now, we've got a lot of uncertainty and people are feeling a little bit stressed. So this is a great way to teach you to de-stress and even age backwards, perhaps. You're definitely going to calm inflammation. You're going to feel better too. All right, so thanks for tuning in to Wellness by Design. And sign up at janehoganhealth.com/deep relaxed breathing, all one word. And I'll see you on the 30th. I'll see you before then too, if you're tuned into this page, but definitely see you then. All right, have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.